there are different brands of rods, of iron rods in the industry. There are different companies that produces different iron rods in the industry. We have local rods, we have TMT, called thermomechanical treated rod, and we have imported rod. TMT rods, you can actually cut part of them and take them for testing. You can take them to the lab to check the lifespan of the iron.
Thank you so much for accepting to do this with me. I started this last year. I want to just create a narrative whereby we're able to talk with stakeholders in the real estate industry, people that are into tiles, people that are into building materials, not just talking to people to come and buy properties, for us to be able to educate people more about the things surrounding real estate, things surrounding properties. And now this is you, my very good colleague, very intelligent woman, and classmate back in school who left mass communication to venture into building materials. From mass communication to building materials, is a very amazing one. But I also want you to introduce yourself so that people watching this can know who you are, what you do, and can be able to resonate from there.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Yewande Afonja. I am the Business Development Manager for Samatkunle Investment Limited. We are into construction and we sell building materials as well. So the areas of the materials that we sell, because building material is actually very wide. We do iron rod. We're a major distributor in Nigeria for iron rod and cement in the country presently. And we also have a product that we produce ourselves that is interlocking stone, which can be used for the roads and your streets and your compounds. So we have varieties of that too that the company produces. So basically, that's what we do.
Beautiful. How has it been working with your company, switching from mass communication to construction? What was your drive? What caused the transition?
Well, as a communicator, one of the major things is to know how to communicate to people, to speak with people, regardless of whatever field it is you find yourself. Yeah. Having studied mass communication doesn't mean I have to be in the media space. You can be in any industry and still do your thing. So working with this organization, it started when we were about going for, NYSC and wasn't mobilized. I can't just sit at home to do nothing. So I got a call from this construction company saying that, they usually listen to my radio program. They don't know if I am available to do jingle and promote their business. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going for service. Do you have a customer care agent? And they said, no, they don't. That they are actually looking for a customer care personnel that can, relate with customers and all. And I was like, I haven't gone for service yet. I can do this for your organization.
For you, yeah.
Then that was how I got into the construction space. So I started working with them as customer care representative. And as a customer care representative, before you can talk to any clients, you need to have at least the basic knowledge of the materials you're selling or the kind of business you're into. So I had to go through different trainings, going to factories, getting to know the materials they use for their for the rods that they're producing. Yes, the cement and all. That way I had basic knowledge. I was actually posted to sites too to see how the QS, work on their calculations, how the engineers know the type of materials to use for the type of structure they want to put on ground. So this knowledge are things that I've actually studied over time for me to be able to relate with the customers as well. So moving from mass communication to this space is actually interesting because I still drive, I do my thing while working with the construction company, trying to create videos, trying to advertise the organization. So, we're still doing our thing.
I see your videos where you stay where there is cement, you stay on iron rods that you are selling. I just do these amazing things that people will even want to know more about it. They want to buy from you. Just by seeing the kind of content that you put out, I'm sure people want to say, okay, let me patronize this woman and see what she's doing. Because as a lady, I'm not sure it is so much for people out there to do something like that. Okay, yes, so what has been your experience in all?
Yes, it has.
Want to say something?
Okay, yes, you were talking about trying to people patronizing you, seeing your video.
Yeah.
You're very right about that. we actually grew our sales profits with the videos we put out, because people tend to like know the type of things that you do, the kinds of products that you put out, and seeing you do this thing, you already see the face. So seeing your face, they know that, okay, I can count on this person to give me the best material.
Exactly.
Most people hide behind the camera and then just put out their product. But they see that, okay, someone is representing this organization. That way, the integrity has to go with it. So trying to do videos explaining the types of materials that would best suit whatever it is they are putting on, it's something that people really appreciate. That shows that you know what you're doing and you know the type of materials that you're selling. And to your questions, that how has it been? Like, sometimes it's very difficult, trying to like do this business in the male world. As a female trying to do this, it shows that you know what you're doing. And whosoever is coming up to you, engineers, because in this business, you see engineers who have been in this business for decades, and then you won't want to like blab when you're talking. You want to talk with authority while dealing with them. That way they know that this person is sound and she's well grounded in the industry. So there are a lot of challenges in this industry, and then you just have to follow the trend when you find yourself in the space of construction.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. I think that's so beautiful. So you said sometimes you go to sites, you know how the QS people calculate what they need and the kind of material that is needed for one or two things. Okay. I think I've also heard that when it comes to cement, I think they are more weightier and more quality than each other, even if they are of the same brand. Is that true?
No, I'll disagree with that.
Okay.
The thing is, people are not really educated enough about the types and the brands of cement that we have in Nigeria. There are different types of cement that we have in Nigeria. And people also do not know that cement has an expiring date. All cement has an expiring date. So when you're purchasing your cement, it's not just going to, someone who sells cement and tell them you want to buy cement. Most of them
I'm hearing that for the first time.
Yeah, most of them might not have, sales, irregular sales, probably because of their location, and they tend to stock up that product, and it might start caking, or even if they do not cake, they might not give you the exact thing. They might not give you the exact thing you need when you use it. So you have to ask if it is a new stock, if it hasn't actually spent up to like 3 months on their pallets. So cement has an expiring date, and cement has different brands. Some of these companies, they run promo. We all know that cement is 50 kg, they run promo. Some might decide to like add 2 more kg, and you see it on the bag +2, which means they added 2 extra kg for their customers, as a means of advert for people to be able to patronize them. Are you with me? So it's actually like that. And when it comes to brand, we all deal with weather. Weather is one important thing in construction. If you want to build, you need to consider the weather. And considering the weather, you need to know the type of materials you will use during each season. We have dry season and we have raining season.
Yes. So
during your raining season, you should know the material that best suits the type of construction or the type of structure you want to put up. There are some land that has a swampy texture. There are some that has dry texture.
Yes.
So you need to test the soil to know the type of materials you will use for your structures. There are some cements that are best used during rainy season because it tends to dry fast during rainy season, and you can maximize your time when you are working on your site. And there are some cements that are good during dry season. They pass through the right curing process. They do not dry fast, but they pass through the curing process that makes your project come out really good. And there are some brands that when you use and you do not mix them well, they tend to give you a wrong feel about your structure. There are some buildings when you see some people trying to plaster their walls. After they are done, you see the finishing touches is very neat and clean. You even think that they've done their screeding, but they've not done it. It's because of the material that they used. There are different brands. There are some brands that you can only use for casting. There are some cement brands that you can only use for casting. And once you use them for casting, they are very strong and they give you a very solid foundation. And there are some cements that they are very good for plastering alone. Once you use them for your plastering, You hardly see cracks on the wall. They give you a very neat and cool feel. You even think they've done the screening on the wall because it looks exactly and very smooth as you can imagine. So you have to be sure of the materials you use, considering the weather, and also you need to ask if it hasn't expired. It's not all cake cements that are expired. So you need to know if they have, a brand of cement that hasn't spent up to 3 months on their pallets. So get familiar with your products, liaise with your engineers. When they advise you to use a certain product, you can also make further research to know if they are good products. Do you understand? Not just think that, okay, because people are using these products, let me use these products. It might not be the same type of soil that family member that you know, lands are different.
Exactly.
Yes, that's
exactly. All right. Is there a way that we can know when a cement is getting expired? Because of course, you may ask some people who said it and they tell you that it's not up to 3 months. Just like other products that are edible, there is a way we can find the expiry dates on the cover. Is there a way we can?
On cement, you can't really know because it's not printed on the bag that it's expired. But then it's advisable to always buy from a distributor or a palleter that you know that they sell every day. That they sell every day. When you go to their pallets, they're always loading, always offloading. The traffic at their place is something that is reasonable. It's advisable to buy from people like that. That way, you know that they stock up every other 2 weeks or within a month, they get new stock of cement.
Right. Yes, I think that's amazing.
Yes, and it's always advisable to buy from someone you can trust, distributors. That way, you won't buy rebacked cement. Sometimes people tend to cheat themselves by trying to take out of the cement and all.
Yes.
So if you do not buy from a distributor or a palleter that you know that are trustworthy, you tend to buy rebacked cement. So you have to try to know the kind of vendors you deal with when you want to start your construction.
All right. I don't know if your job description will give you the opportunity to just be able to tell us the kind of cement that is good for this weather, that is good for, the kind of brand that is good for this time, the kind of brand good for plastering, the kind of brand. I don't know if you'll be able to also tell us that.
Okay, yes. Whosoever find themselves in the construction space, you won't want to give a wrong advice to your customers, because that way, in this business, it deals majorly on referrals.
Exactly.
You tend to people that, okay, no matter the amount of the disaster that would have happened, they will still patronize the person because they trust the person's judgment. So when working, it is important to know the type of recommendation you make for your clients, your customers. That way, you can sustain a good relationship with them. There are different brands of rods, of iron rods in the industry. There are different companies that produces different iron rods in the industry. We have local rods, we have TMT, called thermomechanical treated rod, and we have imported rod. These three type of rods has different company producing. We have different company producing local. There are some thermomechanical treated company, TMT company that still produces local rods, and we have imported rods. Those ones are the ones they bring from overseas, but those ones are reduced over time because we have local companies producing iron rod in Nigeria. So trying to the prices too varies. Most people look at the costs because it's not everybody that has that money to buy expensive rods because their quality varies. TNT rods, you can actually cut part of them and take them for testing. You can take them to the lab to check the lifespan of the iron, to see the components used for the rods, to be sure that they are suitable for the type of structure you want to put on. So, for those people who are trying to put up a 10 building structure, 2-story building structure, you need to use a very solid and strong rod that can carry that weight, that can carry that weight of the structure you are putting on. So what I advise my clients is, aside from me telling you that this brand is good, it's actually very good for every customer to take those material to the lab for testing. So once you take them out for testing, you already know and you see that this material are actually very good for the type of structure I want to put out. And we should thank the SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria. They are actually doing a very good job to ensuring that this factory sustain a very good quality. Either you're buying the local iron, or you're buying the imported iron, or you're buying the TNT iron. So the type of material, they've actually improved over time. Gone are those days when you buy 12 rods, and looking at it alone, you're seeing 8 It looks very tiny. That means it's not up to the size, the size and the quality that they are selling. But with standard organization checking out the quality of material being put out there for the markets to purchase, it has actually increased over time. You see, from the space of 6 months, the 12 that we had then is not the 12 that we have now. Same goes to the 16 the 20 to 25 The quality has actually improved over time. And when you check them, you see that, okay, these products are actually matching up to the TMT rules that we have out there. Yeah.
Okay, like you said, SON has been able to help very well. So would you say that from the time that you started, that you came into the construction, industry to now, there has not been a depreciation in the quality of iron rods being produced?
Actually, before I came into the industry of building materials, there are lots of complaints about the quality of the rods being produced then and now, because the quality of materials then are actually different from the quality of materials that we have now in the country at the moment. So, but over time there are complaints, and people need to work together. Yeah. You don't have to be selfish when you're building. Do you understand? So with the type of materials we have now in the country, you need to be careful with the kind of people you give your structures to. That way they won't compromise the total, if they're supposed to use 10 tons for probably the first slab, they will use 6 tons or use 8 tons. Because every construction has its own rightful placing. So you don't give a spacing of probably 2 meters where you're supposed to give a spacing of 1 meter. Do you understand? Because of the type of materials that are being produced now. They've actually they've reduced the quality of materials. And when you ask the people producing them, they'll tell you the cost of raw materials is expensive, and that's the reason they've reduced the quality of the material. Do you understand? But recently, SON has actually been working tirelessly to ensure that all these factories keep to standard. That's why you see December, iron rod started increasing. In fact, local rods multiplied. We were selling local rod that last year, November, for 165,000 naira per ton. And then January, we started selling for 200 and something. Before you get to know it, local rod now goes for 440,000 naira per tonnage.
Wow.
So you can see the difference from 100 and something to 400 and something. So SON stood by it that, okay, even if people are buying local rods, they should buy the standard rod. So the local rod should even has its own quality, has good quality for people to use. So you don't necessarily have to, you don't necessarily have to use TMT or imported before you get the quality of rod you want to use. That's the reason they improved the quality of the local rods. So if you see the trading of most of these companies that produces local rods, you can hardly tell the difference between local and TMT, because they've increased in size and in strength. So, and the price difference between local rods and TMT now is less than 20,000 naira. So you'd see, when you can still get the same quality you can get in TMT in local rods, why would you go for local? Sure you get it. But you have to also consider the type of structure you want to put up. If it is a high-rise building, you need to probably use thermomechanical treated rod because of their strength and their lifespan, and to see if they can stand pressure. Because when you start laying your rods, it works with pressure. So you need to know if the material is good enough for what you're doing.
That's very important, because real estate, buildings, properties, there are something that will outlive you to your generations, and you actually want to do something that will stand the test of time.
of 20.
Wendy, bamboo versus iron rods, how far is too far? Where at what point do you think using a bamboo is going extreme?
Well, it depends. It depends on the engineer. Everybody has their own pattern for building and structure, but you can't compare. They are two different things. They work differently. You understand? They work absolutely differently. Iron rod has its own space. Bamboo has its own space when constructing. So they work different. They can't even be compared. They have different aspects to using them when you're putting up your structure.
Okay. As a female, family members, your babe, your friends, what has been the pressure, the challenges you have faced before totally accepting, to go into this construction work? I'm sure your dad, your babe may be concerned another challenges that you've had in this construction business.
There are lots of challenges because basically you interact with more of the male.
Yeah.
Like you interact with the opposite gender more. Those people that work with you are basically mostly men. To offload your iron rod, you have people working for you. No female can do that because it requires strength. To offload your cement to the warehouse, it requires male. So you have to deal with these people from different ethnic groups, different background, and it's really challenging. Sometimes you need to start calling your trailer to know where they've gotten to. Are they loaded from the factory? They have probably the truck broke down in a place or something. So these are the things that you have to be up and doing. You have to be very active and agile. Sometimes you work Monday to Sunday, and my family would call me sometimes. I'll be at work 11, 10 o'clock. I'm still here trying to monitor. Are they done offloading the iron? Sometimes you have people ask for materials, and they'll tell you, Wendy, we want this material to get to site before 4 a.m. because we want to start casting. So you have to satisfy your customers, and you tend to stay here to ensure. Most times their order come in late, and loading these materials, it requires strength. And sometimes those people doing it might tell you they are tired, they don't have that strength, probably they've worked so much for that day and they can't actually go further. You have to motivate them to ensure that you satisfy your customers and also keep to time. So it's really challenging on timing, on relationship with your clients. You have to be smart enough to be able to interact with your customers well. There are lots of challenges in this business, especially when you're a female. So you don't have to. You need to know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, no one can actually bring to you what is not meant for you. They know It's basically business, and you do your job well. Once you do your job well, the respect will be there. The referrals will definitely come. So every work has its own challenges, and so far so good. I've been able to, with God's help, I've been able to put through the challenges all the while.
Wow. That means even with what you are doing, you are still being able to manage people. I'm sure it has given you a kind of strength and another skill of people management.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask if you can talk about the kind of cement good for the raining season, the kind of cement brand good for the dry season. You understand? You said during the rainy season you need one that can quickly get dried or something like that.
Yes, talking to you right now, those who are actually into construction, they already understand what I'm saying. So when you need, because I can't mention a particular brand because I am a distributor to almost all the brands in Nigeria. Yeah. So when you're working with your engineer or those people supplying you, you can actually seek advice considering the weather. Most customers will insist that, no, this is the brand I hear. This is the brand that's actually most common that I hear that I need to buy. They are all good, but they are good for certain periods, certain season. So you need to be sure. For instance, block molders. Molders use cement based on season. There's a particular cement that they use that they know that, okay, if I use this cement, if I'm supposed to if one bag will give me certain number of blocks, if I use this particular cement, one bag will give me certain types of, as in it will give me more quantity of blocks if I use this brand. Some will tell you that, okay, if I use this brand, I can produce as many quantity as I want because it's going to dry fast during raining season. That way they won't lose their money while producing, because they know that if they produce now, it will cure immediately in less than 30 minutes, 1 hour, a day or two. It's already strong, cure enough for them to sell to their customers, because it's raining season. But so during dry season, most of them go for another brand, because they know that, okay, this brand, it will take time before its curing process, but I can get more quantity of blocks using this brand, but it will take time to cure. But during dry season, the weather is good enough to like make things cure faster. So it depends on when you're building, the type of structure you're putting on. If you want your foundations to be strong, there are certain brands that are good for your foundation. Though you won't be in a hurry to like get the results. It will take a particular period of time for you to be able to like, okay, let me use this kind of brand. But you know that after your casting, you will wait for like maybe 21 days, maybe 41 days before you start setting your block. Do you understand? And the fact that you use a brand, most people do this mistake. They'll tell you, no, I started my building with this brand. I can't change to this brand. That is actually not true. You can decide to use a particular brand for your foundation. You can decide to use a particular brand for your casting. You can decide to use a particular brand for your plastering, because this every product has its own uniqueness. So don't
peculiarity.
Exactly. So don't say because I started with this brand, you can't change it. You need to consider, is this brand good for this stage that we are in this structure that we are putting on? So stages matter a lot. That's the same thing goes with iron rod. If you know that you can't afford thermomechanical treated rod, which is TMT, for all your brands, you can decide to do probably those ones that would carry the weight, like probably the 16mm and the 12mm. You can decide to use 16mm and 12mm as TMT and use local rod for your rings. Those ones don't really have so much pressure, which is 10mm. You can decide to use 10mm and 8mm. You can buy local for 10mm and 8mm. So the fact that you cannot afford everything as TMT, you can mix them and they'll still give you quality structure, as long as you do not manage all the materials you're supposed to use. You buy the right quantity of the iron rod needed, and you use the right quantity of the iron rod needed for the stages of the structures you're putting on. Same goes with cement, because they work hand in hand. If you say, okay, you're using the right quantity of iron and you're not using the right quantity of cement to hold it, you might have issues on your structure. That's why most of the collapsed building that you're saying these days is because they do not, most of them, they do not wait for the right curing process. So if they're supposed to wait for like 41 days or 21 days or whatever days that they're supposed to wait for their construction, they will not wait. They will be in a hurry because they have the target of 3 months to like finish the structure. So if they do not wait, definitely the building will collapse. So you have to like know the right time to do the next stage. So the fact that you're using the right materials, ensure that all this process uses the right food time for their curing process before you move on to the next stage. Don't be in a hurry, because it involves life. It involves life, and you do not want to waste your money too. So rather than rush and have a collapsed building, it is better you take your time and give your clients the best of the structure that their unborn children would pray for, whosoever builds that structure.
Thank you so much, Yewande. I think the bottom line of all of this is to use professional workers, engineers.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know, do you have a particular team of engineers and quantity surveyors that you use for your construction that partners with you, with your company?
Yes, we do. We have qualified quantity surveyors. We have a whole lot of engineers that work with us. We've worked with both Lagos State government and Ogun State government on several constructions, road, drainages, bridges, as in local bridges and all. So these are the things that we've done, and with the experience that we've had over time, we do not compromise in whatever it is we do. And as a construction company that also sells building materials, because we have a company that sells building material, it is something that the right products to sell to your customers. You explain to them, and you give them the right details of each brand and the quality and the effects they have on you.
Like a kind of free consultancy service before they purchase.
Yes, it's a free consultancy service.
Okay, so if they want to reach you, how would they reach you? Contact, email, websites?
Yes, you can reach us on our website, and we also have an online platform, which is you can download it. It's an app. You can download the app on your mobile device. If you're using an Android phone or an iOS phone, you can download Samat app on your phone, SAMART. That Samat app, you'll see the updated prices, even if you're not purchasing from us. This is part of our CSR to people out there building. So even if you're not purchasing from us, you can get the prices of materials on a daily basis on the app. And also you can purchase from the app too, because our prices are highly competitive, and we deliver nationwide, be it Lagos or Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, anywhere in the country we deliver, and our delivery are always prompt. So you can purchase online, or you can call our hotline 0802 343-1111. You can reach us on that number. We also have a customer care that will attend to you and give you, advice on the right material to use. Plus, this business is actually a seasonal business. So we also advise our customers the right time to purchase their materials, because, there are challenges in the business. You can buy at a very high rate and then, crashes in the factory, or you can buy at a very low rate and, inflation at the factory. Exactly. So these are the things that affect the business generally. So as someone who is actually fully into this business, it's actually important that you work with people that you trust. Once you work with people that you trust, they will advise you that, okay, this is the right time for you to purchase. Probably, okay, wait a little while, wait for like a month, wait for like a week, wait for like 2 weeks, because I have list of customers that are willing to purchase. They have projects that they want to buy, but first they will ask that, Wendy, what's up? I want to start this particular project. Can I, should I wait? Is this price going to reduce, or is it going to increase? What's your advice? So they seek advice. So that's why you have to work with professionals to give you advice. Because in as much as we're in the business to make profits, we also consider our customers. You understand that? To know that, okay, they're actually buying at a very reasonable price.
All right, thank you so much. So I don't know if you have a final word to people out there listening, watching you. Final words to them concerning construction, concerning something that I think they need to know, or to part ways with them today.
Okay, well, to everybody who is actually looking forward to having their own structures, or want to venture into real estate or construction in general, it is important that you are ready for it. This is some people would be thinking that, okay, let me wait till 2 years, let me gather this money before I start this project. It doesn't work that way, because the more you wait, the more inflation we have in the country and in the market in general. So it is better for you to start now. Even if it is a bag that you can afford now, buy it and start something. The more you start, you'll see that your mind is there, and you keep putting the little you have into it. But if you are waiting for you to get that huge money to start your project, I'm afraid you might wait till eternity before you start. So it's better you start now, because everything increases on a daily basis. So that's my advice for people who are watching right now.
All right. Thank you so much, Yewande Afonja. It has been an amazing time learning about construction materials with you. I want to say thank you so much, for doing this with us today. And I'm sure that our viewers have been able to learn a lot of things, and they will reach out to you when they need any of your construction materials or probably services. I remain Adekunle Adeomi, and this is Property Insider, where we educate people about property, real estate in general. And you can also reach out to me for your property plans, sales, and all of that. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead. Bye for now.